Once upon a time, way, way back, there lived a phoenix. She was beautiful. She was mostly red, but also plumes of orange and pink and purple. She was stunning. Now, there are books that say phoenixes are mythological birds of fiction and fantasy. Nope, they're real. And this one lived in a small town with bunches of other winged and feathered creatures, and they had a good and happy life. On Fridays, they go over to the blackbird's house because they made the best cornbread. The peacocks kept the front porch jumping with all their joking and showboating, and the bees kept up the mischief, buzzing in and out of everybody's business. But it was always friendly and it was always fun. Where they lived, it was green everywhere and flowers all over. Everything was going fine and dandy until one day, the buzzard walked by. You know old Buzzard, with the worn loafer and tattered fedora. He had gotten lost on his way to the liquor store, and he spotted a road lined with lilacs. It was what folk would call pretty, so he had to go see about it. And when he got to the edge of the town and he looked out and he saw that peace and all that beauty, well, it made him mad. He said, you know what? I think this town needs a little chaos, a little disruption, a little destruction. You know what I'm doing? When everybody goes to sleep, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna get all my buzzard friends, and we come and steal everything they hold dear. And it came to pass that night, everybody went to sleep. Him and his buzzard friends came and took everything. They took their food, their pots, their pans, their appliances, their CDs, their cassettes. They were so skilled, they even took pillows out from under folks' heads. That next morning, they broke into mourning. And it hurt the phoenix's heart to see her people so hurt. She said, I got to do something. First, she went to see the hummingbirds. And she said, hey, how y'all been making out? They said, we ain't too good. All we had is gone, the buzzard took it all. And the phoenix said, listen, I ain't got a lot, but I got some. And if I got some and you ain't got none, I got too much. And the phoenix gave the hummingbirds song. And they sang all day and all night. And this is how they got by. Next, the phoenix went to see the woodpecker. She said, hey, how y'all been making out? They said, we ain't too good. All we had is gone, the buzzard took it all. And the phoenix said, listen, I ain't got a lot, but I got some. And if I got some, and you ain't got none, I got too much. And the phoenix gave the woodpeckers rhythm. And they tapped their beaks while the hummingbirds kept up the melody, and they did this all day and all night. And that's how they got by. Next, the phoenix went to see the butterflies. She said, hey, how y'all been making out? They said, we down bad. The buzzard took all we had. And the phoenix gave the butterflies stories. And they told stories all day and all night. And this is how they got by. And then this amazing thing happened. The stories gave them courage. And the rhythm gave them energy. And the songs gave them beauty. And after a while, they weren't just getting by, they were thriving. Well, this made the buzzard real mad. He was furious. He had to go see about this. He stomped on his way to the phoenix house and he banged on her door and demanded she give all her gifts back. Well, she opened the door and she fluttered around his head and she said, no, thank you. That made the buzzard even madder. So he always had a match he kept in his fedora that he used to light his cigars. He took that match, he struck it against the rock, took that lit match, threw it on the phoenix, and set her on fire. And while she burned, he laughed. Ooh, he laughed. And by the time her friends got there, she had turned to ash. And he just kept on laughing. And the winged and feathered creatures broke into mourning again. And then the butterflies started telling stories about old Phoenix, about how good she was and the capers she would cut. And the hummingbirds kept the melody, and the woodpeckers kept the rhythm. And then suddenly, miraculously, the ashes started twirling round and round like a tornado. So they sang louder, and the louder they sang, the faster the ashes twirled. And then suddenly, miraculously, the phoenix reappears, whole and beautiful. and she flew joyous circles round and round her people. And the buzzard was mad, so he stumped off in defeat. But the people, the folk, the winged and feathered creatures, they rejoiced and sang in their victory together. I ain't got a lot, but I got some. And if I got some and you ain't got none, I got too much. This how we thrive. This how we thrive. This how we get by.